Redfin's calling it the Great Housing Reset of 2026. A lot of people online are saying the housing market's collapsing. This spring might just feel different. What is it that's driving that this year? And how does it affect you if you're thinking about buying a home? Today, we're just going to take a transparent look at some facts related to inventory, some sales forecasts, interest rate projections, and some practical tips if you're going to be out there in the home buying market. First, let's talk about on a national level. Year over year, Realtor.com is citing that inventory is up over 9%. In some markets, it is even higher, and there are more active listings. And of course, then there was data coming out at the end of the year about the number of homes being delisted. Keep in mind, though, delisting homes at the end of the year when there's less buyer activity is not necessarily a sign the market is collapsing. Rather, seasonality is affecting the market. So keep that in mind. In Denver, listings are up modestly, 6 to 10%, according to some recent data. There's not really much by way of bidding wars, although that can happen in the right market with the right home and at the right price. Prices remain stable, maybe slightly down, but not tanking, as some might say on YouTube. Buyers are in a position to have more leverage. Wealth tie in there, guys. More options, better deals. You can look for the right house. Have a little bit of time to think about what it is that you're going to find. I have heard people saying there's not a lot out there, but we are seeing homes we like. All right. What are we expecting this spring with home sales? Nationally, they are expecting home sales to be up, according to Redfin, about 3%. According to National Association of Realtors, 14%. That's very optimistic. February and March, we often typically see that pick up in general as people prepare for the summer and the busy moving season, between 6.1 to 6.3%, and buyers acting on New Year's resolutions. But why is it different? Let's think about the lock-in effect. Post-pandemic interest rates, people had the below 3% interest rate. That's starting to ease up in a way because we're even seeing an influx of calls from those past clients talking about life has changed. Rates being lower helps it make it more affordable. We've had clients even seek that if they can mirror the payment on their existing home by tapping the equity, that they're willing to do it with the ability to possibly get seller concessions and buy down the rate, which then starts to put some of that inventory back in the market. But don't expect a deluge of inventory because there still are sellers who have low rates, a lot of equity, and don't feel the need to bend to the market. Let's talk about buyer leverage. Negotiating inspections. Look, you're under contract, you do a home inspection, you get it back, and there's 95 items. Check out my video on home inspections because in that video, I talk about a conversation with an inspector about items that he just frankly says don't matter, and that a home inspection is more like a homework list. So don't get freaked out if you see a home inspection with a bunch of items. I think one of the things, because I have heard that there are more homes going back to market after a failed inspection. Now, does that mean that the house was just a POS? Not necessarily. Does that mean that the buyer had higher demands? Yes. When buyers feel more empowered with more inventory, homes not moving as fast, buyers are being a little bit more critical about the condition of the home they're looking to buy. On the sell side, throwing money at a problem may not fix it. If you're already paying seller concessions to pay the closing costs and buy down the rate, throwing money at an inspection item doesn't absolve the buyer from dealing with it, whether it's true health and safety or just being a little bit more nitpicky because of the position buyers are in. That is something for a seller to think about. So is it the house is not necessarily in the best condition? Maybe. Is it worth canceling a contract? Maybe. That's a great conversation for you and your agent. Or are the agents a little rusty negotiating inspections? So certainly as you align with your agent, have that conversation. Give me examples of recent inspection negotiations, where they went south, how they could have been course corrected, and what was the result for that with you and your client. Because my opinion is that someone who was in the market well before COVID and through the housing crisis, this is a time where negotiating inspections becomes important. In that example of the person canceled because the seller was just throwing money at them, they wanted the items fixed before closing to move in. Is it possible that they could have had that conversation between the agents to figure out what was important and why was it important to each party to get to the finish line? So now we have a house back on the market and a buyer back in the market, though the buyer will have more options because there are just less buyers right now for that seller. And those items may come up again. And maybe the next buyer, it works to throw money at it, but maybe it doesn't. So the agents have a strong impact on the successful negotiation of an inspection. But make sure to check out that video on home inspection so you're not shocked when it comes back with a substantial amount of items and causing you to cancel a contract on a home that could have been great if these items were just worked through. Specifically in Denver, let's talk about the market outlook. Steady market, buyer-friendly shift, opportunities in appreciating areas. We are getting a steady stream of people reaching out to get pre-approved to buy a house. Prices $600,000 to $800,000 is not abnormal. Some clients reaching out to buy condos. That market is softer, which can work out well if you're looking to buy a condo and you're the buy side of it. Not as well if you're the sell side. Be prepared for longer holding times and maybe price compression on selling your condo. Of course, keep in mind if you're out there buying right now, even if you're going to put 3 to 3.5% down, it may make sense to look at and compare FHA versus conventional. There are strengths and weaknesses of both loan programs. There are reasons where FHA is better. There's reasons where conventional is better. I have videos for that on the channel. Check that out so you can help decide which is better for you. And then if you're a veteran, that is likely going to be your best bet for lowest rate, less money out of pocket, and concessions from a seller that can help you out as an impact goes to it. So realistically, 26 pivoting to more normalized market, I think the biggest impact will come down to navigating the inspection and the resolution, negotiating those items out. If you're the buyer and you want it done before you move in, make sure you express that to your agent up front. And if you're representing a seller or you are a seller, be mindful. Throwing money at it may not work for the buyer in this market. Make sure post some questions and your feedback about the housing market, what you're experiencing out there. If you've recently sold a home, what was that like during the inspection process? This may go across the country, but make sure to share the content. If you want more videos in your inbox like this. Thank you so much.